Sweet, let's hit record.
Okay.
All right, Michael. Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you just give us background, like who you are, what you do, what kind of got you to the point where we started training together?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, sure thing.
Far away.
Yep, my name's Michael. I do engineering for work, so it's a desk job. I'm sitting a lot. Um, my previous training before we started training together was mostly weights and a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Before I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, my weight training was mostly like bodybuilding focused. And then after I started training Jiu-Jitsu, I shifted to a more like kind of like low rep, medium weight, compound movement type training just to kind of stay in shape rather than like for any specific strength or bodybuilding goals. Um,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah, sweet. And you talk to us about like some of the, or in not quite injuries, but aches and pains you kind of have going on as well. There
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
few
sure thing.
things going on there, wasn't
Yeah, definitely. So the two main ones I've had are my left shoulder and my left knee slash hip, I guess. So the shoulder injury I did, that was back in 2016, so like 8.5 years ago. And
there?
that was just from weights. I was doing shoulder press and just like overextended behind my head,
Yeah,
and really just did a number on my left shoulder. And then my left knee, it was a hiking injury. I kind of just came down off a step weird and did something to like one of the ligaments or something. I'm not fully sure. And then just over time, that kind of spread up to my hip, moved away from the knee, which was nice. But yeah, now my hip's usually pretty jammed up.
yeah, yeah. And I know you said obviously like during that first session we had together during the consult where we look at your posture and assess you and stuff, and
Mhm.
you were saying you've been like seeing people on and off and sort of limited results. What kind of stuff were you doing with the
Yeah,
to treat the knee and the hip and the shoulder?
yeah. So two main things were the physio and just like YouTube exercises, I guess. So
Yeah,
both they helped a little bit. Like they're all kind of similar. Like strengthen
yeah,
your rotator cuff for the shoulder, strengthen your glutes and your glute medius and like the muscles surrounding where the injury is.
yeah,
So that's kind of what I'd been doing. And I'd been trying to do it myself for maybe like a year and a bit, and then I'd seen physios on and off for a year and a bit for both
yeah,
issues as well.
yeah, yeah. Nice. And it talked to us about that first consult session because obviously we showed you so in that session we go through your posture, we talk about your specific issues, and then we kind of give you a little
Mhm.
bit of a diagnosis on what the root cause of those things are, rather than trying to look at the symptoms of like addressing the muscles just around that knee, for example, like you just said. What did you
Yeah,
like? How did you find that first session, and what did you get from it? Because I know you had some pretty good quick results, which is awesome.
yeah, yeah. I thought it was interesting. Like I'd never really heard about using like fixing your posture to fix other issues. I mean, I know
Yeah,
having good posture is good for you, but I didn't realize like how well connected everything is, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, you mentioned that you thought that like doing these exercises and helping to fix the posture would help with my injuries, and I was a bit skeptical at first, to be honest. But you showed me one exercise which, yeah, really just like took the glute through like a really full range of motion, and like had it activated the whole time, and I felt this really good relief in my sore like hip area. It just felt like, yeah, it felt like this, I don't know, this release that I hadn't really felt before from all of my other exercises. Um, and so that was the moment I thought, okay, maybe there is something to this, so I'll give it a go.
yeah, yeah. And I was obviously like pumped to hear that result because
Yeah.
it's awesome to get people results quickly, but sometimes quickly could be like 4 weeks or maybe even 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Mm.
So for you to get like, I think you sent me a message a few days after, but sort of saying, yeah, I've been trying it at home and like the knee pain has kind of eased up massively, and it's like it's been
Yeah.
making a difference to my hip and my shoulder already. Like,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
like that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
because the other part of the exercise was like stretching out your opposite arm, and I feel
yeah,
like that just got I don't know what it was. I think it was just like a really good stretch through my lat and the shoulder muscles as well, which
yeah,
I try to get through like dead hangs and stuff, but they also didn't really feel the same. So this just felt like a really good release just from one
yeah,
exercise that I could do every day and didn't really fatigue me. So it was really
yeah,
good.
yeah. And I think that kind of introduced you to the understanding of like how the body's like fully connected, and we're not just
Yeah.
looking at the muscles in isolation. And that's like what a lot of traditions, like I came from previously, a lot of people come from in their training background previously, is like whether you're training injuries or whether you're training specific muscles, it's like looking at things in quite a lot of isolation. I think
Yeah,
that
100%.
probably opened your eyes to that, and then going forward into the training, like talk to us about your journey through that. From like we only worked together for we did about 10, 11 sessions, didn't we? So a relatively
Yeah.
short amount of time, but you had some. Well, I'll let you share.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, so it was about like 6 weeks, I think, for the amount of sessions we did, 6 or 7
Yeah.
weeks. Um, and I just found that I felt better than I had in years, to be honest. Like my hip mobility and the stickiness that I felt all the time
Mhm.
in my hip socket was just freed up. Especially because we'd focus on that most sessions. So
Yeah.
if I came in feeling a little bit stiff, we'd start off with that, and I just felt so good for days afterwards after doing just like 1 or 2 sets on the hip.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, my shoulder also, like I lost all of the pain in my shoulder. It felt good. I felt mobile. We did a few exercises targeting that, but also even the other exercises we did that weren't necessarily targeting it because, as you said, like you're using the entire kinetic chain. It was still like giving me some work in that area.
Yeah. 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 And you're someone who applied yourself really well to the exercises, which was like really good fun and awesome to coach because when people like get the cues and they get the tension they're trying to create, you can like really
Mm,
maximize the work you get from it, but then also the results you get as well. Which, yeah,
yeah,
I don't know if you found like you were pretty blown after gassed after each
yeah.
session. I
Oh
remember.
yeah, I was cooked, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like after doing a big leg session or anything. Like I felt like I didn't really get that central nervous system fatigue, so
Yeah.
I was puffed, but I could still go about the rest of my day, and I had like good mental energy. And after a lot of our sessions, I'd go do jujitsu that night, and I still had plenty of energy for that. And my body actually felt better. I feel like it felt
Yeah.
looser, hips especially. Had a
Yeah.
really good hip mobility later in the day.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something that I definitely like experienced when I started this training as well. Was like you go through training thinking you just smash yourself and you like fatigue your muscles
Mm.
and you're thinking like, oh, I'm really sore the next day. That must mean I've trained really well.
Yeah.
But then when you realize you can train in a way that's like you feel good and you feel like more mobile and you feel like you said
Mm.
more energy and you can
Mm.
just go about your normal day-to-day life a bit better. Um,
Yeah.
I think that changes your perspective on training, on what proper
Y-
training should be like. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then you said obviously like jiu-jitsu, big passion for you or reasonable passion for you.
Yeah, yeah, reasonable passion. It's
Yeah,
a budding passion. I've been,
it's a budding
yeah,
passion.
yeah,
It's growing. How's that?
yeah.
How's your found your jiu-jitsu changed? Because you remember that story you came in and you said you got defeated by the guy one week and then smashed him the
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah, yeah, he's a big fella, a lot bigger than me. And yeah, he smashed me one week, and I don't know. I'm sure part of it was just maybe he was having a worse night as well. But I went in and trained after one of our sessions together,
Mm.
and yeah, the only reason I could submit him is because I was pretty much like nearly doing the splits, to be honest. And he was like trying to force my leg up like really, really high up, but I don't know, my hips felt really good and I could keep it there and I was fine. And eventually
Yeah,
gassed him out with that. And then, yeah, I could just clamp down with my legs and got him. So that was nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. And I think you said the week before you like it's because you came in and your back was a little bit niggly because you like arm
Yeah.
that guy and he was a little bit
Yeah. I
you
tried to bridge him off me and yeah, hurt my
yeah
back a little bit. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Sounds pretty solid.
that was all good. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Was there anything that surprised you most about the training?
Um, yeah, a few things. Well, one, as I mentioned, is how like you think you're doing something for the glute, but you're kind of working the whole body.
Mm.
I would find that with like I'd still get mostly glute activation, but um, like a lot of the muscles in my leg were working really hard just to keep that ground force tension that you mentioned a lot in the training. And
Yeah,
then like your core's working as well. Your maybe like your shoulder and your bicep are working as well if you're doing a sort of a row, and your
yeah,
back as well. Sorry. So just the whole body connection, um, and being able to really feel like the connection between muscles. So like between your lat and your opposite glute, really being able to
yeah,
feel that while you work. Another thing is how like technically difficult the exercises are.
yeah.
Just like how many different things you have to focus on.
Mm.
Um, and that, yeah, I don't think like because of that technical level, I don't think I'd be able to just learn them from watching people online like you can with say bench press or deadlifts or something.
Yeah,
Like you kind of really do need someone to cue you like session after session as well until you really learn the movements.
yeah, yeah. And I think I always say those, like you said, your experience of like trying to find videos online to like sort your knee out, and people
Yeah,
will be like, "Oh, do this one exercise and it will fix this problem," and you're like, "No,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like there's so much context to the exercise, and you don't like see what the layers are going on underneath to
mm.
how to really get the most out of them." So, um, yeah, sweet. And then like results, I know obviously the last month has been a bit of a mixed bag because you moved and job's been
Mm.
busy again, and like training's slipped off massively, but kind of maybe like wind back to the towards the end of our training, like where were things with your body
Hmm.
compared to
Yeah,
when you
so
started?
yeah, so as I said, like the best I felt in literally years. Probably it'd be like the best I've felt since I did my knee injury, which was like 6 years ago. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think one just because the injuries itself weren't kind of flaring up and bothering me, but also I think I just felt kind of lighter and looser through my whole body.
yeah,
So I think there was like a little, not a huge difference because it was only 6 or 7 weeks, but like a little bit of noticeable difference in my posture being straighter.
yeah,
I feel like my glute activation in the exercises I'm doing is a lot better now. So I think that's helping just with general everyday life as well.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
I think like focusing on all three planes of motion with the core has made my core like stronger and more stable. So yeah,
mm,
just like yeah, at the end of the 6 weeks, I was feeling really good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's good as well because you obviously said you were like a little bit skeptical at the start, and you
Yeah,
obviously just got married as well, so you like had a few big costs, and it was I understand it was like
yeah,
a pretty
yeah,
significant investment for you at that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
What would you recommend to someone who was in like a similar situation to yourself? Like maybe not sure whether it's the right thing for them or not sure if it was just the investment upfront for it,
mm,
obviously.
yeah, I think like if someone's in a similar position to me, like if you can afford to try the 13 sessions or like just the start of it, then definitely give it a go because yeah, I think what made me what kind of changed my mindset was thinking about it as a long-term investment. Like it's a bit of money up front, but the the potential to like fix my injuries and just learn how to take a lot better care of my body that can go on
Mm.
for the next like 50, 60, 70 years. I thought that was worth the cost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's like hopefully you don't have to go back to a physio anytime soon or
Yeah.
like to treat something that you've been trying to treat for a long time, right? Something new might pop up and that's just part of life. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, hopefully you got a lot of tools now to try and know how to deal with those issues and start understanding your body so you can manage them more yourself as well. And that's what I always want to
Mm.
leave people with as well. It's like, yeah, it's like you said earlier, it's hard. The training's quite technical, quite precise.
Mm.
Um, but you do like 70 or 80% of that yourself, and you're going to still get really, really solid results, I
Yeah.
think. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet man. No, well done again for the training and the work you put in because it was a pleasure to train you and you got some awesome results in such a short amount of time. So I know if it was different circumstances and you were staying, maybe those could have continued a lot more, but who knows what happens in the future,
Yeah.
man. But,
Yeah. No, well,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah, I had a really good time and appreciated all your coaching style and your coaching tips and cues. They were really good. So thank you.
Yeah, awesome, man. Nice.